I got a feeling I'm about to get put on. I got a feeling that something finna take off. I got a feeling, and it won't be too much longer. Got a feeling coming up on the
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Welcome back to another episode of Unpopular Honesty, the home of brutal honesty and real hip hop music. And today we just gonna have us a regular conversation about hip hop. Well, really, we actually gonna have a conversation that I have been meaning to have for quite some time now. It's no secret that, I have been upfront about my feelings regarding hip hop music and certain artists for quite some time. It is documented at this point. And I said a lot of things ahead of time a long time ago and took a lot of backlash for it, took a lot of heat for it, got called a hater a whole lot of times, just simply for stating the obvious. And a lot of what I said is now what a lot of other people are saying today. I'm here to say, I told you so. In particular, a recent album that has just been released. I had a chance to listen to this album just to see what all the hype is about. Because even me in my, disparagement or dislike for an artist, you still have to listen to the music. Because if you don't listen to the music and you just make a judgment, then that's just a baseless claim, in my opinion. If you listen to an album, then you could tell how whack the album is because you've listened to it. With this recent album that this artist has released, it lacks substance. It lacks cohesiveness. It lacks real song structure. It sounds like a project that was just compromised of a playlist from a bunch of different songs. The beats were not the best. Some of those beats should have stayed on the cutting room floor. I think all but maybe one artist featured on there actually did a good job. And it brought the question that, how can this person be so great when at best they're average? And I've been saying this for quite some time. You don't become top 5 without a classic album. Popularity does not get you there. Record sales do not get you there. Accolades do not get you there. They have no bearing on music quality and talent. Now, I'm not a judge of the talent. If you deem that talent, cool, that's you. Music quality is another story because I'm a hip hop head. So I'm gonna sit down and listen to your album. And I'm listening for all these things. I'm gonna listen for storytelling. I'm gonna listen for lyrical ability. I'm gonna listen for delivery. I'm gonna listen for substance. A lot of that was not found on this new album. It just sounded like something that was slapped together and thrown together, as opposed to something that had a theme and, had a certain type of feel and mode to it. And But it brings about what I have been saying for years. By all accounts, most people who have heard this album say that it's not good. That would mean the artist is average. And it's nothing wrong with being an average artist because people still listen to average artists. There are lots of average rappers who are not the lyrical miracle. They are not the most versatile, but they are good for what they are good for. And people still listen to them. The problem with this situation is, see, this is the person that claimed at one point to be the best rapper alive. This is what separates the average artist from the one who claims to be the best. And really, this started a trend of people not being qualified for the title that they give themselves. People don't even look at it like that, but I do, because a lot of people follow this person. You follow the talking points. It became your talking points. Once he did it, it became cool for the next artist to do it. So it just opened the door for fuck shit. That's basically what happened. Because there is no way that you can call yourself the best when people had to give you that title. People have to give you that title. You can't give it to yourself. If that's the case, everybody rapping would give theirself that title. But even I know, with being not only a contributor, but a student and a fan of the game, the audience has to give you that title. So I never believed in it. I thought it was one of the biggest running lies in hip hop. And now we are seeing that, yes, it was a lie. Because the best rapper alive would have a classic album. The best rapper alive wouldn't put out mediocre music. Think about it. It's not illegal yet. Think. Use your brain. We have to be honest here. You know, but let's switch it up. Let's switch gears. Recently, there was I believe it was an interview that the Clipse did in a magazine. I'm not sure if the magazine was Rolling Stone. It might have been Rolling Stone. It might have been another publication. Where they were talking about how, well, Pusha T was talking about how the Clipse end up leaving Def Jam due to a Kendrick Lamar feature. And I thought that was funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, a whole company, even though I get the play, I mean, Def Jam is under the umbrella of Universal Music Group, for those who don't know. So that's why that happened the way it did. But now it brings about a bigger point, because now it's starting to dictate how artists put out music, which is the whole danger around this individual who filed a lawsuit and what this lawsuit means going forward in hip hop. And Def Jam, you know, is a record label, first of all, you know, Def Jam was an institution at one point. Def Jam was a symbol of hip hop greatness for the artists, the music that was released. Def Jam was one of those first hip hop label dynasties. You know what I'm saying? So to know the prestige and the history of Def Jam, and then to see where it is now, yeah, it's a sad day because the label has been compromised. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't think anybody, who's seen it like the way I seen it will look at it the same again. You know what I'm saying? But now going forward, hip hop is not defined by a label, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And the labels have been dying a slow death for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Because now technology has afforded artists to release their music independently. So the days of needing a label are long gone. For those artists who are still on labels, hey, kudos to you. But as a rap fan, watching Def Jam be compromised by a lawsuit was very disappointing. Very disappointing, but at the same time, I'm anxious to hear the return of the Clipse with their first studio album in 15 years, which is called Let God Sort 'Em Out. And from what I've been hearing, not only do they have Kendrick Lamar on this album, they have Nas on this album, and they have Jigga on this album. Because when they left Def Jam, they went to Roc Nation. And I don't think that's a coincidence that they left Def Jam and went to Roc Nation, because seeing as how Pusha T and Jigga have the same common enemy, and how I feel like somewhere on this Clipse album, Pusha T is more than gonna likely air out that enemy. And it's a good chance that Jay might air out that same enemy as well. So when I heard that they signed to Roc Nation, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I see the play that y'all doing. You know what I'm saying? I see what y'all doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I peeped the behind the scenes play. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. I just want to hear the album, you know what I'm saying? Because I like the Ace Trumpets record. You know what I'm saying? I felt like they went in on that thing. Both of them. I was like, okay. Like, oh, wow. You know what I'm saying? Let's take it there. You know what I mean? And I'm anxious to hear that, man. I feel like they're gonna have possibly, best rap album of the year contention right here. But I'm still waiting on some other ones. I'm waiting on that Nas and Primo. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait for that. I just found out that Daz Dillinger is doing a Dog Food 2. You know what I'm saying? And they doing a Dog Food 2 with him and Corrupt, should I say. And I think that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? I think that's very cool. I want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? I know Daz got a new solo album out right now. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a part 2 to it's a sequel to his first solo album. If you remember, his first solo album was Retaliation, Revenge, and Get Back. Came out in 1998. And I remember having that album too. You know what I'm saying? Because special time in rap music. You know what I'm saying? But probably one of the last solid projects that came from Death Row before they fell completely. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, shout out to Daz. Shout out to the Clipse. Shout out to those dropping real music and releasing real music. You know what I'm saying? Because it's needed and it's necessary at this time. Um, I can't help but to talk about also how the music that I've been talking about that has been less than or has been under par or subpar, should I say, is backsliding. You know, a lot of that is backsliding. And the reason why is because people want music that says something. You know, a lot of people confuse hip hop and rap. You know, let's be clear, hip hop is the overall culture, and rap is an extension of the culture. But now, when I say it in terms of hip hop and rap, because that's how I separate the substance from the non substance. The non substance is the stuff you hear at the club, the stuff that you hear on the radio, what most people are going to be playing out of their cars. Hip hop is the stuff that you can learn from. Hip hop is the stuff that can teach you. Hip hop is the stuff that doesn't carry that negative spirit and that negative energy. And that's what I mean. A lot of people put both in the same basket, and it's not the same thing. Most people like rap. There's nothing wrong with that. If you are a rap fan, you are a rap fan. That's just what it is. You like the lowered IQ, the low vibrational, negative, degenerate, you know, the type of stuff that music breeds. That's, you know, what that is. You know, now don't get me wrong. It's very few variations, but most of it is, unfortunately, the stuff that can hurt you in the long run. Hip hop, on the other hand, it's not a lot of it because a lot of people are not of the hip hop cloth. A lot of people are of the rap cloth because they can rap and make themselves some money. Most people that do hip hop are the people that love it, and they probably don't put a dollar amount on it. Although some do make dollars off of their music. The main purpose of a hip hop artist or an MC is definitely not money. They have their heart in it, and that's the difference. That's why you don't hear nothing negative associated with that. And that's the difference. I just hope people understand the difference. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know I definitely do. It'll never cease to amaze me how many, you know, age appropriation doesn't exist in the Black community anymore. You know, and that's a whole crazy topic of conversation for me too, because I see it everywhere. It's everywhere. You know, and it's not just about older people past 35 playing music that teenagers listen to. It goes deeper than that. It goes way deeper. You know, it's crazy because I remember when I was growing up, you knew the older crowd because they acted a certain way. They were mature. They were adults. They weren't trying to be children. They weren't trying to compete with children. They weren't trying to stay young. They were comfortable at the age they were. And today, it's just not the case. Today, people are doing anything to try to stay youthful. That means you can run across a 40-year-old man talking about no cap with some jeans with some rips in them. You know what I'm saying? Like, probably a haircut that a YN would have, maybe some dreads. This is what I'm saying. And when the esteemed, respectable, elegant Black women say, "Where are the men in the community?" Some of these people get upset because hit dogs holler. And I say to myself, yeah, because I see a real live identity crisis going on. It's like nobody wants to be themselves. Everybody has some type of facade, some type of an ego, representative, something that they emulate or try to be. So they live in life on character mode every day. And I'm saying to myself, who is their self? Who is their own individual? Who thinks for themselves? Because it's a lot of people who don't think for themselves. They let society think for them. A lot of people let social media think for them. A whole lot of people. And that's crazy. That is crazy. Because I come from the era before there was a social media. So it's nothing for me to go back to a time where there's no social media. It won't bother me. Other people though? Oh no, that's their lifeline. They live on them. They put their whole life on them. Some people actually live on social media. Like flat out, live there. Think about that. It has become so addictive that people are losing their jobs over it. And let's be clear, let's put it in the proper way of context. Yes, they are losing their jobs behind social media. And they are also losing their jobs behind seeking attention. Because where we are in 2025, attention is the new currency. Attention has now surpassed money. Can you believe that? It's true. Attention is the new currency. It's the reason why women get up and have photo shoots from their phone every day. Some men do it too. Not gonna leave y'all out. I go out in public and I can't tell you how many times I see somebody holding up a phone above their head, walking, not really paying attention to what's around them. And my mind always go, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like my mind go, wait a minute, how you outside? You got your phone above your head. You're not really paying attention to what's going on around you. You're so fixated with your telephone. But this is reality. You can go to a club and you see people in the club on their phone. No wonder the club experience has died because it's not the same no more. Sections and cell phones have destroyed it. I remember when the club was fun. I remember when the party was really lit. When you go in there and you come out drenched in sweat because you've been dancing all night. No cell phones, no social media. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I remember what those days were. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to see how things have changed. But where should we go next? Well, I'm gonna say this. I've been making music for over 31 years now this summer. It doesn't get any easier. Um, there's always going to be people that doubt you. There's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be haters. However, if you continue to do what you do, you will succeed. If you have pure intentions and your music is of standard and quality, you will succeed. I remember when music changed and it turned into all this weirdness, and people were saying, man, why don't you make a song with auto-tune? Why don't you do this? And why don't you need to make a song like this? And all that. They were trying to make me change the nature of my music and the style of my music to sound more young. And I told them, no, I'm not doing that. I was like, I'm going to continue to rap because eventually the tables will turn around. Eventually, the public at large will understand the difference between real music and bullshit. Now, I didn't know when this was going to happen. I'm not a psychic, you know what I'm saying? But I always had faith that it would happen because it's just a matter of people being able to know this. And it just so happened to happen on a grand scale where the world got a chance to see it. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. Because since that moment in time, hip hop has changed. A lot of rappers who are not lyrical, who like the way that it was before, are now complaining, saying rap is fucked up. And woo, 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 woo. Yeah, it's fucked up because you can't put out that bullshit no more. It's whack because you can't get by off bullshit no more. Yeah. And this is the moment that I have been talking about. Another moment that I called in the middle of all that weirdness. I said, one day the tables will turn, not knowing when that will be. And now look at us. The tables have turned. Shout out to those who stayed real and stuck to the script and didn't try to conform to sound like young artists. Shout out to y'all, along with artists like myself. And as always, my people, you know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for watching. It's been good. Stay tuned. A lot more content is on the way. Until next time, everybody, peace and love. Take it how you want it. The album is on its way. Got that merchandise. Got them shirts, those bundles. Got a lot of merch coming your way real soon, so stay tuned. I thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody who's watching. It is greatly appreciated.